Because I had a pretty tough time opening a bank account in Sao Paulo. When I moved to Sao Paulo for the first time, I had to go to that banking branch, and it was the most painful experience I ever had in my entire life. I always describe it as almost going to jail, because you have to go through these bulletproof doors. You have to leave your wallet and your cell phone and your bag in a locker outside the branch, and go through the bulletproof door and wait 60 minutes and then talk to a banking branch manager that has a horrible attitude, that is always thinking, I'm doing you a favor, opening your bank account. And it's not like, oh, let me really serve you. I had to go to the banking branch maybe 10 times in the course of 4 months to eventually open a bank account that charged me about $30 per month, an interest rate that was over 400% a year. So I could not digest the fact that customers and people in Brazil were going through that customer experience, had to endure that, while at the same time you have 5 banks that own 90% of the entire banking system, and that there was no competition. There was nobody competing, and that this banking oligopoly also showed some of the highest profitability in the world. And so while understanding that sort of industry, and also understanding what technology was doing, came to that idea of Nubank, of building a full digital bank focused on the consumer experience, and being able to pass the efficiency of the business model to the end consumer by not needing to charge that many fees, and offering a better user experience. We are in the intersection of financial services and technology, right? In financial services, as I mentioned, Capital One was a big inspiration. Capital One is a fascinating case study of how, as a startup in the early 90s, they saw a very commoditized banking market in the US. Every bank charged 19.8% APR for all credit cards. Independent on risk, the APR was exactly the same. And Capital One, even though they were pre-internet, pre-big data, pre-mobile, they were able to use a strategy of data and analytics and marketing to segment the credit card market in the United States. And over the course of 10 years, they became the 5th largest bank in the US. And they built a really differentiated culture, very focused on data, very focused on analytics, very focused on recruiting incredible analytical talent. So that was a big inspiration. Also ran into a company in Russia called Tinkoff Credit Systems, which in a way was the Capital One 2.0, or the Capital One of Russia. I went to Moscow, met with them, and it was very interesting to see how they had looked at the Capital One case, but they have built it for Russia in a post-internet, pre-mobile era. So they're still not necessarily were smartphone first, but they were already using the internet to provide a better user experience for customers.